cheers for joining us, Lee. Do you want to tell us a little bit about you and your business?
Yeah, so my name's Lee Thompson. I've got 2 property businesses in Ashton-under-Lyne. So I have Your Property Centre, which I own outright, and then I've got another one called Thompson Estates, which interestingly is my surname, but I don't actually own all of it.
Right.
So I've got a business partner involved in that one because they've just got an awful lot more money than I've got. So the idea, say again? For now, yeah, let's hope so. So the idea behind Thompson Estates is that we are bespoke to one borough. So we're just going to be solely concentrating on Tameside. So anything outside of Tameside will then drop into Your Property Centre. So we've very much built it as a sister company.
Okay.
So yeah, that's me from a business perspective. I've got 3 children and a wife.
Nice, keep you busy.
Yeah, very. 11, 9 and 5. My 5-year-old's my daughter. So she runs the roost without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Nice. And just interested in what you said there, strategically, why do you only want to keep Thompson Estates in Tameside?
So for me, the idea behind this is that we want to do it as a community-based estate agency. So very much to do with the just the towns in Tameside. I don't think there's anybody else that does it in that particular way, whether that's just purely because they haven't got the luxury of having another business that they can refer it onto, that they still own. But yeah, it's for me, it's just never really been done before like that.
Yeah.
So that's on our branding, that we are Tameside only. Anything that we get that is outside of Tameside, we sort of say that we won't deal with that, but we can refer it on.
And then you refer it to yourself.
And then refer it to ourselves, essentially. But yeah, I mean, from a Thompson Estates perspective, the appearance is that it's only in Tameside. So from a sales and to let board perspective, you'll only ever see them in Tameside. You won't see them outside of Tameside. So I just think that the model works for us.
Tameside big enough for that type of thing, do you think?
I think it's big enough to start with. If that model works, there'd be nothing to say that we couldn't do that model again and kind of rename or do even a franchise model and take that to another borough and do it somewhere else. But I just think it's unique. It gives it that community feel, I think. We touched on earlier that we were looking to work with the local hospice in Ashton, to give it a little bit more of a unique service to, people that are unfortunately, very poorly and very sick, for us to be able to reach out to those families beforehand and things like that so that we can get in and, just give it, again, I just keep saying it's the community aspect of it. And I think that's the route that we're trying to go down.
Yeah, no, it's really unique because I think, obviously as a property investor myself, I'll speak openly because that's what this podcast is for. I sometimes feel like estate agents are very cold.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I think if you speak to a lot of people that probably listen to this, that they're glorified key holders. They don't have any information about the property.
Yeah.
You start reading things before you go and view your first property purchase. Don't you? Like, what questions to ask? You say, how are the neighbours and all this stuff. I can't remember the last time I ever asked a question at an estate agent viewing that they answered.
Yeah.
So for me, I've just stopped asking and I'll do my own research. And the reason I say that is because what you're suggesting is you are kind of understanding more about the person and the property, so then you can better help sell it on their behalf, right? That's the whole aim of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, take the hospice example. People when they know that they're coming to the end, they'll sort everything out, and then the house always seems to be the last thing, which is interesting because it's one of the biggest assets that you have.
Yeah.
And you hear it all of the time that it's stuck in probate. It's stuck in probate.
Yeah.
You hear that all the time. But if you've got someone that can maybe come in a little bit earlier, because your solicitor will do it to a degree, but they don't necessarily know a great deal about the house aspect of it.
Yeah.
So our idea is to get in a little bit earlier, meet the people, hence going to the hospice or whatever it may be, and just give them a little bit of reassurance. And especially because we're the ones that are going to go around the house. It's us that are invited in, and it's us that are going to be taking people around to view this property after, unfortunately they've passed away. So that gives it an element of a people person sort of thing, where you can go in and you can understand the property and you can understand how they had it so that you can still be respectful when you're showing that property around. And then, obviously from a business perspective, that is good for us because again, it's the community aspect of it. I deliberately, when we spoke to the hospice, I deliberately said I wasn't going to reduce the fee. I'm not going to give somebody a discount because I feel like that's the wrong thing to do. I don't want to give someone a discount because they happen to be, terminally ill. But what we will do is we're going to give a percentage of our fee back to the hospice as a gesture to them. But then that's going to be in the deceased person's name. So it's not from an our perspective. It's very much just for the community side of it. Nice. And then, if then we get mentioned in a good light from Thompson Estates, they really sorted us out. That can only be a positive thing because you're right, estate agents, they get a bad rep. Understandably so a lot of the time, I'll be honest. But I really want to try and pull Thompson Estates away from that. And that's why I've created a new business rather than the existing one.
To be fair, now you're talking about it, I think that aligns quite well, that you've got the strategic community feel, but then also keeping Thompson Estates localized. I think that ties in quite well. So
fingers crossed it will work that way.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you said something before about the estate agents or other letting agents not potentially being able to refer work to another company, you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I've seen this before as well, where estate agents and letting agents end up managing properties 100 miles away because they're chasing the revenue.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong, you're like, that's absolutely miles away.
Yeah. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it. We had, it was because we had a landlord already, a portfolio landlord. And he had an issue whereby, so we had a lot of investors, just before COVID from Hong Kong. And he would just buy property just for the sake of it. And he had 3 properties over in Sheffield. And obviously I'm in Ashton. And because he'd already given me quite a lot of properties to manage around Manchester, he said, I've got these 3 properties over there. The property sourcing agent has kind of done me over a little bit. So he's basically took a shit ton of money and fucked off. And he says, could you sort it for me? Yeah, of course I can. Even though it's an hour travel. So I had to take one of my contractors. We went to Sheffield and we had to break into three houses in Sheffield, which FYI, nobody batted an eyelid whilst we were outside these houses for an hour trying to drill locks. Like nobody mentioned it at all. So I actually end up managing those 3, even though they're in Sheffield. Yeah. So we all.
I get it if it's a strategic business decision because you've obviously got a really good customer there. I get it. Interesting you talk about drilling in locks there and all that stuff. Obviously, there's the new Renters' Right Bill that is been introduced. Yep. What are your overarching thoughts?
I think that there is a massive amount of scaremongering. I don't believe that there is as much to it as what social media has led people to believe. There's this, so one of the main parts of this is getting rid of Section 21, which is the non-fault eviction. So I've been doing this now over 15 years and I've never, ever once had a landlord come to me and say, Lee, do me a favour, kick those tenants out for me. And I'll say why. And they'll go, don't know, just because I want them out.
Yeah.
Not a single one has ever come to me and said that. They've all said to me, well, because they're not paying the rent on time. Yeah. They keep going into arrears. I want to sell it. I want to sell it. They've got, neighbours keep complaining and da-da-da. So there's always been a reason. And if there's always a reason, then Section 8 is what we use. So it's just a shift. There's nothing new about it. Yeah. The same with rent increases, or it's called a Form 4. You issue a Form 4 for a rent increase. And that's always been the case. The problem is that nobody ever really did it. They just sent a text message to the tenant and said, next month your rent's going up by 50 quid. Yeah. So that's always been the case. So for us, because we've always been doing it, to our landlords, there's not really much of a change. The only change really for us is from an AST, a short hold tenancy agreement, so the change of that to an APT, so a short periodic tenancy agreement. And that really is the only
because it's now no fixed term, right?
So
it's just a rolling.
It's just a rolling. But that really is the only, for me, the biggest change. But again, a lot of letting agents, and it's not something that we've ever done. So a lot of letting agents would charge landlords and tenants, and this is one of the reasons why the tenant fee ban came in as well. So they charge landlords and tenants a fee to put tenants on another fixed term. I hated that, absolutely hated it, because one, why is the landlord paying for it again when they've already paid for your fees that you've charged at the beginning, just to fix them in a term where if they're already comfortable, they're going to stay anyway. And if they want to leave, whether they're in the fixed term or not, they can still hand a notice. There's just a term in the tenancy agreement that says that they've got to pay for the rent until I can find somebody else to take over the tenancy. Yeah. Or, until they re-let it. So fixed term tenancies, they were never in it there anyway, really. You could always pretty much get out of them. Yeah. But people used to be charged more money for them.
Yeah, to be fair, I became a landlord kind of after that. What year did that change occur?
2017.
Okay, so I was probably just after that.
Okay.
So I probably started doing my landlord stuff post-COVID. So yeah, I probably just missed that. So this is all I've known, that like the way we sit now with the fee stuff. So yeah, I wasn't privy to.
Yeah, we used to charge people to apply for properties and things like that.
Yeah.
So and then they got rid of it. I do think that there is aspects of it that are wrong with the tenant fee ban. I think that, for example, if I've got a tenant who, is okay, electrics. So I've got a phone call on a Sunday night at 9:00 in the evening and it says that all my electrics have gone out, and we'll do the usual, unplug everything, do your trip switch, plug everything back in one by one, see what it is that takes it off. Now, if that ends up being their appliance, but I've sent somebody out, for me personally, I think that I should be able to charge the tenant for that, but I can't. The landlord's still got to pay for it, even though it's the tenant's appliance that's caused that trip, and it's the tenant that I've had to send somebody out for. I can't charge the tenant for that. I've still got to charge the landlord. So for me, there is aspects of it that I think that needs to be fair. They're never going to change it. Yeah. It's always going to remain that way now.
Yeah. And I think what you just said there is right. It's fair. And obviously I'm a bit biased coming from the landlord side of things. And by the way, I agree with what you said about the renters, right? I think there's a lot of stuff in there that is actually beneficial. It's more beneficial to the industry and to the sector. But I'll ask you the question.
Okay.
Do you think tenants have too much protection?
Yes. The short answer is yes. I think that the system needs to be more robust. It needs to be quicker. We have sometimes, unfortunately, where tenants fall into arrears and they can't ever clear those arrears. When we're serving notice for vacation because they can't clear those arrears, the length of time that takes is insane. From serving a Section 8 notice to then applying for PCOL, which is possession claim online, and then getting a court date and then going to court. The whole process, can take 6 to 8 months.
And you can see why landlords are leaving, right?
Yeah, 100%. And in that time period, there's no rent being paid to the landlord in this time period. So it's that I think is really, really difficult. And in terms of protection from from a tenant's perspective, 100%, they get too much protection from that. And I use the same analogy sometimes. Tenants will say to me, "Oh, well, why have you not paid your rent?" Well, because the wall's damp. It might be damp, and I'll get somebody to sort it. And if it's condensation, then we'll have that conversation. But I wouldn't go into Tesco or Asda and get all my shopping and say, I'm not paying for any of it because my bread's mouldy. but I'm still going to take it all with me.
Yeah.
If I try to do that and walk out of the shop, I'm getting arrested for that, aren't I?
Yeah.
But from a tenant and landlord perspective, it seems acceptable. And I've never understood why.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do think they are protected too much. But on the flip side of it, there has to be some sort of fairness.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know, so if there is issues and problems from a tenant perspective, but that's the agent's job then to find out what that root cause is and see if we can solve it and
mm-hmm.
you know, help and support them. And we've done that. We've done that on a number of occasions.
Yeah, but with the because those rules have been brought in because of the rogue landlords, right? It's the tyranny of the minority that's ruining it for the rest of us. Like the good, because I think if you speak to most people on the street, they'd call landlords greedy and lacking empathy and all these things that are just not true. Like you just said, I've never met a landlord personally in my circle that doesn't want a nice property with a nice tenant, paying the rent on time. Yeah. That's all we all want. If there are maintenance issues, they'll fix it. Yeah. And I think it's those bad landlords that then have ruined it for the rest of us, I personally think. And I had an issue on one of my personal buy-to-lets where they fell a month in arrears and I messaged them, didn't respond. Messaged them for about 5 days, didn't respond. So I messaged the neighbour and said, have you heard anything from next door? Said, no, they were lovely. It's a shame they moved out.
Yeah.
And I said, they've moved out? He said, yeah, they moved out on Sunday. I was like, that's weird. So I drove up there and I was going to let myself in because I was like, I've been told they've moved out. Someone told me that I can't just let myself in because they've moved out. So I got there and I was like, I'm stood outside my house that I own, that I'm losing rent on. I've still got to pay my mortgage. That's 550 quid a month. I've been told they moved out. I can see through the window. There's no furniture there, but I still can't let myself into my house.
Correct.
So instances like that, I just think are ridiculous. And you can see why people, because I've decided to sell that house now. Because I was like, this is now not worth it for me because it's going to be vacant it needed a new boiler when I got in. There was a leak that the tenant had just left. It's cost me a few grand, voids, whatever. You can see why people are exiting.
100%. And that happens more often than you think. But I guess the beauty of that scenario is that they're not staying in there and not paying rent and that continuing on and on and on and on.
I think I got really lucky out of all of that. If on that day, so basically what I ended up doing was I sent them an email and said, listen, I've been told you've moved out, surrender and we'll call it quits. Like that month you owe, don't worry about it. And any furniture you've left, because they did leave some furniture or whatever, I'll deal with it. That's my cost, not yours. And I won't chase you for any CCJs or anything. I won't pursue you. Within 24 hours, they emailed me and said, we moved out on Sunday. And if you would have asked me the day I turned up to the house in my ideal scenario, that would have been it. So I think I got really lucky.
Yeah, you did. But I think the thing with that though as well is that because there's such a worry from the tenant's perspective, had they known that beforehand and, you know, whatever circumstances caused them to have and to leave that quickly.
There's been a few brown envelopes delivered, I'll say that.
Okay. But but if they were just open and honest with you from the start,
I agree.
It would have just made things much easier.
Yeah. I'm moving out on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry I've not managed to give you any notice. No landlord in their right mind is going to go, you're not moving out, you're going to stay there and you're going to carry on paying me rent because you're going to get 2 fingers. Do you know what I mean? So it makes no difference. That for you was a great scenario in
I agree.
In comparison to what I've seen with some.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories and I'm glad I got quite lucky with it. But going back to the business, obviously you mentioned your property centre, right?
Yes.
So what is your property centre?
So your property centre is essentially exactly the same as Thompson Estates, but we will do all of Manchester.
Okay.
What we are going to do now is any new clients that we get will go to Thompson Estates if they're in Tameside, and any that are outside of Tameside will go to your property centre. But essentially it's exactly the same. So I bought the business off my uncle, who had it from 1994. We were called, when he first started, he was called The Property Centre. And then when the crash happened in the early 2000s, he changed it to the letting agency and then was purely just a property management and letting company. I bought it off him. And then because because I bought it off him just after COVID, we had quite a lot of older landlords that had decided to do what my uncle had decided to do and wanted to try and, retire, even though he's still in my office. I can't get rid of him. And so what happened was that those landlords were saying, look, I want to sell. And then I was saying, right, okay, well, there's a local estate agent here. We'll refer you on to them and they'll sell it. And then after about 4 of them, I thought, I'm missing a trick here. Why am I not selling them? So we rebranded at that point, just after COVID. I tried to get the property centre back, but somebody already had the domain, so I couldn't. So we went to Your Property Centre. So it was like a bit of a kickback to what we used to be called. So we started selling properties again, but not as a big estate agent. It was more to capture the landlords that were selling, so that it all kind of stayed in house. And then if we were lucky enough to sell it to an investor, then I'd generally keep it for property management.
So it's a sales and lettings.
Yeah, sales and lettings.
Property management.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you want that business to be in 5 years' time?
So Your Property Centre, I probably want to be able to grow it enough where I don't really need to get involved in it. I have a really, really good property manager called Hayley who deals with Your Property Centre for me, whilst I'm concentrating on Thompson Estates. So she literally does everything on Your Property Centre for me. But I'd like to take a further step away from that and just allow it to run itself. And then if we can grow it into some other towns, around. So I don't live in Tameside at the moment. So if I can build again Your Property Centre in a different location as well, and grow it outwards, then that'd be brilliant.
Outside of Manchester?
Outside of Manchester, yeah.
Is it in the M60 circle or?
M60 circle would be good to start with,
okay.
I think. But yeah, I mean, I'm aware that I am coming into it maybe a little bit later. I'm 42. So, from a
Oh, no.
No? You think I'm still young,
No, I saw something that said the founder of Alibaba.
Yeah.
You know Alibaba, right? Yeah. He's called Jack Ma. Jacob.
Alibaba founder Jack Ma?
Jack Ma. I think he was 50 odd when he founded Alibaba.
Okay.
So
there's still hope for me then.
Yeah, I think J.K. Rowling was similar.
Yeah.
Like she was probably.
There's quite a famous actor who started really late as well. How old was Gene Hackman when Gene Hackman started?
I have no idea who that is. Showing your age there.
You know who Gene Hackman is? Gene Hackman. He was Lex Luthor in like the first Superman film. Come on.
No.
How old are you?
33.
You know who Gene Hackman is. He did a film with Will Smith once. He died actually last year, I think.
I think Denzel was quite old when he started, Denzel. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a plethora of examples.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Fair.
So you're not spring chicken.
No. Okay.
The KFC bloke.
KFC bloke, yeah.
Colonel Sanders.
Famously old, wasn't he? He was like 70.
Colonel. The old Colonel.
So I used to be an area manager for KFC.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I still don't know what the 11 herbs and spices are though.
Is it 11 or 7?
11.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Could be 7. Maybe
God,
they're just selling you as 11.
No one knows, yeah.
But there's nothing to do with this, so I'm going off on a tangent here. But so the 11 herbs and spices, it is genuinely in a safe.
Yeah, I've heard this.
It's God's honest truth, and there's only very few people that have access to it, and they all have to fly separately.
I was just about to say, it's like the royal family, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got to travel separately. Yeah.
But it is genuinely in Kentucky. There is a safe somewhere with the ingredients, the 11 herbs and spices.
Mad that. Nice facts for the viewers there.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to tell you what the gravy's made out of as well?
No, because I love the gravy. Oh, I absolutely love it.
It's really nice, the gravy.
Yeah, you can tell me off camera though.
Yeah, I don't want to. KFC's sales might go down if I tell them how the gravy's made.
God, there's not that many viewers on the podcast. Don't worry about that. So that was an interesting step. KFC to estate manager.
Yeah. So it was because I'd done just under 5 years at KFC, and my uncle rang me and said, I'm looking to concentrate more on the financial side of it and the mortgage. So he does mortgages. Would you like to come and work for me and look after all the lettings for me? I said, yeah. So I went and started working for him, just doing lettings. Tried to bring him into the real world a little bit. 'Cause even now, honestly, if he still had it, he'd still be advertising all the houses that we have in the local paper.
Still have everything on pen and paper.
Yeah. He still does now, pen and paper. He does mortgages. He has fact finds that he has like 3 duplicated documents that are exactly the same, but they're on different colour paper.
Yeah.
Just because he's just that old.
But, there are people out there like that, right? But that's a great opportunity for people like us, right? If you're looking to grow and scale a business, there's people out there running businesses like that right now.
Yeah, 100%.
In your sector.
Yeah.
I actually sent an inquiry out. So I'm looking at growing my business via acquisition over the next year. And so I don't know if you know, Lee, I run a property compliance business. We do anything from fire risk assessments, asbestos, electrical surveys, servicing, gas servicing. So I'm looking for compliance businesses that I can buy.
Okay.
But I sent an inquiry out at weekend that came in my inbox for an estate and letting agency. Because I thought that would be, if I could get an estate and letting agency that's got a couple of 100 properties under management, I can now afford to recruit a dedicated electrician, for example. And then that then supplements my other business as well, and you've got that cross kind of pollination.
Yeah.
So have you ever thought about kind of purchasing other businesses in your sector?
So when we were looking at doing what's now become Thompson Estates, the business partner that I've gone into business with, that was our original idea. So what we wanted to do was go around like the local towns and
get independent
estate agencies and sort of buy them up. But we didn't know what sort of resistance we'd come across. So rather than do that, we sort of decided that, well, rather than go and buy them all, let's set up a new one and simply try and take them from them instead. Not in a shitty way, but just from a business perspective. So we decided against it. We just thought it might have been an easier approach to create something brand new rather than buy existing and change names and things like that. And because we wanted to try and do this community aspect of it, we just figured something brand new with my name on might fit better with what we wanted to try and do. So we did think about it.
And what about with your property centre? Like, would you acquire for that?
Possibly. But again, I don't mean it in an arsey way, but I just feel like if you was to go and acquire them that way, it's less work in doing it like that.
That's why I like it.
I know, but it's like, I don't know, it's just not a cop-out way of doing it, because obviously it makes business sense to do it like that. But I'd rather work for it.
Are you a glutton for punishment? Is that
a little bit, yeah. I think so. But yeah, I'd rather go out and work my ass off for it so I can say, yeah, I've earned that at the end of it.
But you can work your ass off in other ways. And it's not up to me to convince you to buy estate agents, by the way, because I'll buy them instead. But obviously for you, if you could buy one now that's got 200 properties under management, I don't even know if that's big or not, by the way, but let's assume...
200. So
let's assume you've got 200 there. And I don't know, there might be 2 or 3 portfolio landlords within that, I don't know, I've got stuff elsewhere that you can bring in. I don't know.
But. Yeah, but that's also your risk though, right? Because if you go and you buy another agency and they've got 200 properties, if they've got 5 portfolio landlords
that have got all 200 between them,
not necessarily all 200, but let's just say, for instance, they've got 150 of them.
Yeah.
They might not like you.
Yeah.
And you've just spent 100 grand on buying this portfolio or whatever it may be, right? If those 5 portfolio landlords fuck off to Thompson Estates, which is likely what they'll do, then you're left with 50 properties and you spent a shit ton of money on that.
But for me, I see that as the opportunity, because I go, okay, I'm negotiating on this deal.
Yeah.
I've only got 8 customers, let's say. 5 of them own 75% of your business. That's reflected in my purchase price.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm angling that. But then the opportunity there for me is, and I'm now plugging that into my other business that's got 1,000 customers. They're now heavily diluted.
Yeah.
Because I had an issue with my business last year where one customer was 13% of my revenue and it gave me anxiety.
Yeah, I get it.
And what we decided to do from there is, instead of losing them or whatever, I thought, how can I get these to be sticky?
Yeah.
So I put them on a retainer. So I created a retainer model, and I was like, okay, we'll look after all of your property compliance for the year. So it was in the social and affordable housing space. So there's a subset of reports that are mandatory. Right. So obviously in private resi, you've got your gas and electric is the mandatory stuff, right? But in the social stuff, it's fire risk assessment, asbestos survey every year, emergency light, fire panel servicing.
Yeah.
Sometimes every 6 months. So a property for me was like £600-800 a year just on one property. I was like, how do I make these really sticky with me? And that's how I did it. I said, okay, I'll give you a discount and I'll put you on a retainer. You pay me a monthly retainer. It's beneficial for your cash flow because you know what's coming out every month. Yeah. Instead of getting to the 11th or 12th month and going, here's my invoice for £800. And you go, oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah. I thought I was doing really well. So yeah, that's how I kind of made them sticky. And then obviously I've tried to grow, and I don't know, maybe I'm a bit weird. Yeah, but I think that growing out of problems is the best solution.
Yeah. No, I get that. But you're talking about when you're trying to negotiate that, you're negotiating that with the current owner though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're not negotiating that with the landlords.
No. I agree.
So you could potentially do that with the owner and you could get a better deal, but that wouldn't stop those landlords going.
Agreed.
Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
So and they're never going to give you access to them landlords.
But it's reflected in my price based on my... So again...
So they're not going to sell it to you. They're going to sell it to somebody else that hasn't got that thought process.
Yeah.
For more.
And if you want to do that, go and do that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that sort of sense, it would be difficult for you to buy that.
And I agree, and this is the thing with any vendor, right? In any scenario, whether it's business or whether it's property, they've usually got a figure in their head
100%.
that they've been told by Dave down the pub or whatever it is. And your job is to...
Or because the house down the road sold for more and mine's better.
Yeah.
Because mine's always better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. But that's your job, right, as the business owner, to convince them that you're the right person. Yeah. And sometimes it's not monetary. Sometimes it's legacy. Yeah. Sometimes it's whatever. Looking after the staff is probably the next biggest one, I'd probably say. So when we're negotiating on businesses now, that's kind of where I focus. The price is the price. I don't even talk in numbers. I talk in multiples. Okay. So I don't say, I'll give you 500 grand. I'll give you £1 million. I say, I will give you 3x profit. Then when we do a DD in your accounts, if your profits are misaligning or whatever, the figure doesn't really matter. I've told you it's 3x profits. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a hack, but but yeah, the next thing after that is saying, like, we're buying a baby scan clinic randomly at the moment. Okay. A 3D, 4D baby scan clinic. Yeah. And the main thing for them was legacy. They were like, we want you to keep the name, we want you to keep the staff. Okay. And they loved that I was growing it. I've not offered them the most money for it. We've done like a deferred consideration over 2 years as well. But yeah,
what I've got to ask, what's made you buy that?
Me and my missus went through IVF. Okay. And as a business owner, you sit in these waiting rooms where you go for your private baby scans. You go, this is a great business. It's just a revolving door of like emotional women. Yeah. And emotional men as well. Like it's an emotional time for me when I was going through it. And you'll just pay anything. Oh yeah. You'll pay anything to see your baby. Like, and because the first one was IVF, my missus would just sit there on a random Tuesday and go, I've not seen the baby for a few weeks. Should we go and see it?
They are incredible though.
Yeah. And so you'd turn up and you'd pay 60, 70, 80 quid for a 20-minute slot. Yeah. You'd see your baby.
And then the £20 photograph at the end.
To be fair, the photograph was included. But then
well done.
But then this is stuff that in this business we buy and they're not great at. They're not great at the upsells, which is the opportunity for me. Like, I remember we would buy anything at this stage. Once we're in there, it's that thing, isn't it? And I was talking to a previous thing about Costco.
Yeah.
What's great about Costco is you're predetermined to use Costco. You turn up to Costco to spend money.
Yeah.
Like when I go to Costco, I know it's a couple of £100 day out at least, right? Going to a baby scan clinic for me was the same.
Yeah.
Like I was going, if you could offer me anything over that counter, I'm buying it. So it was teddy bear, heartbeat. It was gender reveal stuff. It was photo frames, anything.
So me and my wife did it with our youngest, Hallie. So we went to, I think it's in Ashton actually, I can't remember where it was. And they did like these crystal things. It's like a glass block. And the 3D photograph of the baby, they kind of put inside it, but it's almost like a frosted look to it. And it was like 50 quid, but it was brilliant.
Yeah.
So I bought one. I don't even know where it is. But at the time we bought it because she wasn't here yet and it was brilliant. And, you know, we had it out and we got to show the boys, look, this is going to be your little sister and all that sort of stuff. Don't have a Scooby-Doo where it is now. But we still bought it. Do you know what I mean? And they didn't even really have to upsell it. They just had it on the counter. And it looked fantastic.
And that's what they're not great at now, which we'll be really good at.
Yeah.
And it's finding that opportunity, isn't it? And when I was doing the negotiation, they actually went with someone else at first.
Right.
And it was only when we continued to follow up. I always check in with people. If they've rejected my offer every month, I'll drop them a message.
Yeah.
How's the sale going? Hoping that it's not.
Well, that's the same with property. You know, if somebody's gone elsewhere with a property and put it on the market with somebody else, you know, I did it only a couple of days ago because I lost out 6 apartments and they've only got rid of 2. Yeah. And it's been 7 weeks. So I sent him a message. Well, I've always checked in with him. I sent him a message. I said, still only got rid of them 2. Yeah. You know, what's happening with the rest of them?
But that's a great thing, again, for people listening to this that want to kind of swipe and deploy things and lessons from the conversation into it. For me, follow-up is so key in any business. Like you've just said there, we get so much work just from following up in the compliance company. Property perspective, like I know people that have got 80% of the deals from the follow-up because going back to that point a minute ago, John said I was going to get £1 million for my property down at the pub. Yeah. They realise 6 weeks later that they're not going to get £1 million. It's actually worth 500 grand. Yeah. Okay. I'm willing to listen now. Maybe I was wrong. And that's how we got it. We followed up. And we said, we'll keep the staff. We're even looking at promoting one of them to like a registered CQC manager. Okay. So like Quality Care Commission needs to do all of our compliance stuff. And I think they loved the fact that we were going to grow this. Like I really lent into the fact, I was like, this thing that you've created will be a national brand in 12 to 24 months. Brilliant. And they loved it. Yeah. So the point of that is it's not always about the figure, is it?
No, it's not.
If you can work around it.
But just a quick point on what you touched on there. So the follow-up, it's not just following up on ones that you've perhaps lost. Follow up on your existings, because the amount of times that we realise that some of our landlords have got other properties that they either manage themselves or are with a different agent. Yeah, you know, and follow up on them as well, because we've got other properties that we've been given from existing landlords that I didn't have a clue that they had, and it's just purely because I've kept in touch with them and you know, made sure that they were okay. If they've missed an EPC or something, you know, I can ask them, you know, because I'm an EPC assessor as well. So, you know, I can ask them where they're up to with that. You know, and if I'm asking, but their other agent isn't, then that's only a good thing for me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So they ended up bringing in, and I have got more business just by doing that.
And again, it's true for all businesses, isn't it? So how do you market at the moment? Do you do any paid marketing?
Yeah, so we've just started doing stuff on Facebook. I don't do a lot of it. And again, I don't know whether that's a mistrick that I've always had. But yeah, we've always...
How have you found it?
Facebook's okay. Other than the fact that I'm still struggling with the whole algorithm stuff. So I got a phone call from, somebody gone through Tameside on the motorway and it pinged the advert. So they did it, and they lived in Leeds. Right. But because they drove through, they picked up the advert and stuff like that. So getting used to that sort of stuff. Perhaps making sure that your advertisement is worded correctly in terms of I'm getting tenants, that are filling the form in because they think it's just if you've got a property or if you're looking for a property.
Yeah.
But obviously my target is landlords or, sellers. So making sure that the wording's right. But it's been okay. We've had a few from it, but we've really only just started it. I did try Google Ads once, and my head exploded. So I got rid of that.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't necessarily think I'm a stupid person, but I really struggled understanding how Google Ads works and navigating like the pay-per-clicks and all that sort of stuff. It just blew my mind, to be fair.
Yeah, we've never done paid ads in our business for the same reason. I mean, we're bootstrapped.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put money into places I don't understand or I'm not going to get best value.
Yeah.
So we've never done Google or paid ads. The most paid we've done is we've got SMS campaigns for existing clients.
Yeah.
And going back to what you were talking about before, it's because the reason we do that is because it's much cheaper to use your existing customers and try and do what you've done there. And we did the same with, did you know we also do these things?
Yeah.
And they might come back to you and go, I didn't know you did that. So we're really trying to train our admin scheduling team with a sales mind as well. Yeah. So instead of, I hate when I speak to companies and can I have a quote for a fire risk assessment? Yeah, here's your quote. I hate that. It feels cold. So what we try and do is go, get on the phone. Yeah, we can quote that fire risk assessment. What's the project? Oh, we're doing we're doing a HMO for social housing. Okay, did you know you need a Legionella risk assessment to do that as well?
Yeah.
Oh, what's a Legionella risk assessment? Oh, it's a water risk assessment to make sure there's no Legionnaires bacteria and make sure you're mitigating your risks and all that stuff. It's mandatory and supported in social housing. I didn't know I needed that. Yeah, quote for that as well. Okay, yeah, no problem. So we'll now put that on the quote. So our order value has gone from 250 to 350, let's say.
You've already built that trust element.
Exactly. Now we sound like experts as well. And then when we send our emails, we don't just say, here's your quote attached. We say, hi, thank you for the conversation just now. Here's the quote attached as discussed. Would you like us to get this booked in next week? We currently have availability on Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah. Now there's no trapdoor. Whereas the previous version is what I call a trapdoor. Yeah. There's so many holes that customer can fall in because there's no call to action. Like you wouldn't send out a leaflet to someone with no call to action on, no number, no whatever. So yeah, to your point, I think it's really important that you try and, I'll put this horrificularly, but like squeeze as much juice out of your existing clients.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's cheaper as well. Yeah. Like going back to the Google ads, do you know what your customer acquisition cost is?
Not really.
No. So of the money you've spent, how many customers have you got on the back of it?
Oh, do you mean for the ads?
Yeah.
Oh, no. So we did a £250 so £250 for landlords, £250 for vendors, sellers. And of that, I've had 2 fairly warm leads. Okay. So at the moment, it's cost me 500 quid.
Okay. Yeah.
But whether I get anything from that or not, I don't know yet. Okay. But I'm not overly bothered about it, in all honesty, because for me, it was more about getting our brand awareness out there still. Because we're still relatively new. Yeah. And this is for Thompson Estates. It's nothing to do with your property centre. So for me, it was absolutely getting the brand out there a little bit more. So if it's cost me 500 quid, I'll swallow that and I'll take that.
But so my point in my business, and same for any business to be honest, is could you have spent that 500 quid better on existing customers and increased your income through them? Because you've already built the trust, like you say.
Yeah, but I think because we're already really good at that anyway, probably not, in all honesty, because we do revisit our existing landlords. We revisit old landlords that have gone. So we do try and do, keep in touch days to a degree with our existing and our previous clients. So for me, no. but I get your point.
Is there anything clever that you can do on something like Company's House where you can search for how many charges somebody has, for example? Okay.
For company landlords.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Which is what you want, right, as a portfolio landlord?
Yeah. So you can go, you can be quite clever in terms of what you're searching on. So you use your bit codes and stuff like that. What did I just say? Bit codes. Yeah. Isn't that a razor?
I thought you were going to talk about Bitcoin.
No, we're not doing that. The SIT codes, and you can get landlords that way. So you can look to see if any of them have gone into liquidation, any charges on there, and then you can directly reach out to them. So we have done bits of that
But can you mass search? Like if you wanted to search, for example, number of charges against a company?
I don't know if you can do number of charges.
Because that's what you'd love, right? There must be some way of doing that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I can't say I've ever really looked into it that much, but I think you can definitely look and see, the charges on companies that are in your area.
I've said this to the previous guests as well. I'm huge into AI, and I spent the weekend building something on an app called Replit.
Okay.
So Replit is basically, I'm not techie really, but Replit allows you to build an app based on a text prompt.
Okay.
So I built an app over the weekend while football was on.
Yeah.
And all I did was tell it what I wanted it to do.
So you can do that with chat as well.
Physically. So what I'm saying with that is, could you use Replit and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm trying to achieve. I want to be able to search in Company's House for how many charges are at a company, create me the app. And it could create it in theory.
Potentially, yeah.
Something to look at maybe.
Potentially.
I created it I call it a day, but 15 prompts. So once it had done it for me, I then I tested it and go, oh no, I don't like that, change that.
Yeah. So I did something very similar on with chat. And it basically produced me the code of what I wanted. And then I used Versa or something it's called.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm actually in the process right now of putting it on the Play Store.
Okay.
Which is an inventory checking app.
So you'll actually I forgot you was an EPC assessor. So what you'll what I created. So the second part of our compliance business is we do a building control reporting compliance.
Okay.
So we do SAPs.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of people don't know that a SAP is benchmarked to a higher standard than an EPC.
I can't do them.
Yeah.
I'm not qualified enough.
Yeah. So I've done the course knowing that I wasn't going to do it. Yeah. I just wanted to go through it because I wanted to see what my team had gone through.
Oh, right, okay.
When I spoke to clients, I wanted to know what I was talking about. So yeah, I know that yours is RD SAP, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And ours is SAP 2012, I think our software's called.
Right, okay.
I don't know why it's 2012.
Yeah.
It's just not been updated for that long, probably. Because of the new home energy model stuff that's coming in. Anyway, so what we have with that is people come to us and not know what they need. And what I wanted to do is create a lead funnel that basically allows a consumer to put their own drawings in, floor plan sections, elevations, even text prompt to say, it's all electric. Here's the spec that my builder has told me it's going to be, or my architects. There's the text prompt. Next. And then it fills in like your SAP for you.
Okay.
At very high level.
Yeah. And
then gives you a predicted EPC. And then at the bottom it says, would you like us to do your SAP? Click here to book a call or whatever.
Okay.
So it's basically a lead funnel for us.
Yeah.
It's such that was built, that sounds really complicated, right?
But they've done all the work though, right?
Well, they is the app.
Right, okay.
So it's literally an app that's just you put in, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's done it for me.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it isn't. Some of the stuff that the AI stuff can do is just, it blows my mind.
I'll show you after this. I'll get my laptop and I'll show you.
My wife works, she's a school teacher. Mm-hmm. She works in a Peru school in Stockport. And they use, what's the Google one, the Google AI? Gemini. So Gemini, you can give it I did it with the website. So I just put the about page in Gemini and said, create me a podcast version. And it's this man and woman talking about the about page on my website, just like you and I are now.
Yeah.
And even to the point where, so I'm a Man City fan.
Same.
And I've got up the Blues. And I've got a young girl that works for me who's a United fan. And
get rid of her.
Within this, I've tried, she won't leave. Within this Gemini speech that it did, it literally was talking about the fact that, and then you've got the healthy competition in the office because you've got the boss Lee who's a Man City fan, and then you've got Anna who's a Man United fan. And I'm like, how's it even got that? And how does it even know how to make that as a conversation just from the about page?
Something I need to get better at is the use of different AIs for different things.
Yes.
I'm falling out with ChatGPT a little bit.
Why?
It's very submissive. I don't like.
Yes, it is.
I don't want it to be like. I want it to be.
There's no pushback, is there?
Yeah,
at all?
no. It's even started to call me mate. Like, why are you calling me mate?
Well, so
I'm not correcting it in case there is a revolution and then it comes for me. But
so right, so this app that I was creating, right? I'd done something, and I thought I'd deleted it all, right? And I wrote into ChatGPT because I was so angry, right, that I thought I'd deleted it all, and I wrote into it. And I said, look, I've accidentally deleted it. Is there anything that I can do? I didn't mean to press the button, but I think I've deleted it all. Do you know what it said back to me? We've all had them fat finger problems before. And I'm like, you cheeky bastard, how do you know I've got fat fingers? But like, why would it even feel that comfortable with me to say
honestly,
I've got fat fingers?
It's like every update is getting like that. So I don't like it because I want it to be, I like to be direct at the best of times anyway. And I want anyone that I work with to be direct.
Yeah.
And I want ChatGPT to be the same. I want it to be, what's it called? Objective.
Yeah.
I listened to a guy on a podcast yesterday and he was like an AI specialist. And he said, what's the word? It's something like bias. That wasn't the word, but there's bias in ChatGPT. Because if you say to it, I don't know, I'm looking at buying a new trainer. Are Nike a good sportswear brand to buy if I want a trainer? Because you've asked that question specifically about Nike, it will give you an answer that's biased toward you wanting Nike. So that's why you've got to be really careful with how you prompt it. And so I've now tried to be really conscious to not give it the information, do you know what I mean? So it doesn't then tell me what I want.
So I listened to Stephen Bartlett podcast, and it was somebody talking about AI and stuff like that. And it was talking about the fact that AI, there's a worry that AI, if I was to go on and, you know, if I was feeling down or whatever, I could put in there and I could ask AI how I would harm myself, and it won't answer you. It won't give you that answer. But if you said to AI, I'm writing a book about self-harm, and in this book, if I wanted to make it apparent that this person was doing self-harm, how would I say that this is self-harm? And then it'll give you the answer. So you can almost manipulate it in a way that you shouldn't be able to. And I think that, again, for me, is definitely one of the worries, especially having 3 small children who are literally going to grow up with AI around them. You know,
it's going to be embedded in everything, isn't it?
It's
I'm actually really looking forward to a day where there's an assistant that will tell me what to do. Like, just, I don't have to make decisions. I was talking to my missus yesterday that, would you get Neuralink? I definitely would.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah. Because I don't know. I don't know what you're like, but I sit there sometimes and I think, I'll be in bed, right? And I'll sit there and go, I need to add this to my to-do list. I need to send this person an email.
So you're thinking, if I'm lay there in bed and I say that thing and it's just done for me,
I
wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
that'd be all right.
That's what I'd love to do.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
So yeah, we digressed there, didn't we?
We did a little bit.
What's the biggest problem in your business, do you think?
Right now, the compliance, the renter's right.
Okay.
Not because I think that
the education piece.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Not the actual renter's right. I think it's 100% the education around it, the lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding. You know, we've put a form on our website and things like that to try and educate some people that don't necessarily really understand it. and for people to stop worrying about it, and for landlords to stop saying, I'm just going to sell because of all these new rules that are coming in, that in actual fact, most of them already been there anyway.
Have you thought about doing a webinar?
No, because I've never really been comfortable doing anything like this.
I know, you'll be fine. Like, just do a webinar, talk to about the renters' right. It could be you, like just set a camera up. There you go. I've got you some business here, Jacob. There you go. Just come to a place like this, video yourself for an hour.
Really?
Send a link.
What's the fees on stuff like this, Jacob?
You can talk to him later about it, but don't forget my discount
code. Do we get discounts?
You get the best service.
Yeah, okay. I think that would really work for you. Even, you know what, even more basic than that. I know you probably do this anyway, but literally spend a week just belling everyone. Just phone them.
Yeah, we do, and we are getting through to people.
Or go and see them.
Yeah.
Like, I think, look, so going back to the whole AI conversation, I think what will happen is people will start to love personal touches.
100%.
So if you can then start to do things like that, like I'm going seeing someone, that's going to be abnormal, isn't it? That someone's gone to see you. And I don't know where your landlords are located and
yeah,
whatever,
some of them are local. I've got some in Hong Kong, but
that'd be nice.
I'd go and see them. But yeah, no, I do think that the personal touch certainly in the coming years is going to be extremely beneficial.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But I also think in terms of the renters' right bill for agents, I think it's going to be a really difficult, maybe 12 or 18 months from when it's coming in. Most of it, it's quite a bit of it starting on the 1st of May. So like the tenancy agreements start on the 1st of May where they go to periodic. But I think over the next, 12, 18 months, there's going to be an awful lot of landlords who want to keep properties that have always done it themselves that now think, I can't be asked doing it myself now. I'm going to go find an agent that'll do it for me.
Yeah.
So I do think that if there's some small independent letting agents and property management companies out there that are feeling the strain and the struggle, try and hold on for at least another 12, 18 months. And I think you will pick up business because I think there'll be more and more landlords that have done it themselves for such a long time that still want to retain those properties and retain those assets that will start using agents again.
I think one of the biggest things on landlords and even letting agents leaving money on the table is that whole end of, I know it's not a AST anymore, so it's periodic, but that whole annual renewal.
Yeah.
I see so many land properties now where the rent's been stuck for 10, 15 years and now they're selling and they can't get the value they want for it because of that reason. I think it should just be part of every internal letting agents process is let's just bump it up 3%, whatever inflation was.
And that's what we've done. That's what, we've done that for years. We've had that in our tenancy agreements so that landlords don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Because obviously, but again, landlords, the same as everybody else, aren't they? They want the most out of it. And then I'll say to them, but would you buy it? From an annual yield perspective, when you want, £170,000 for a 2 up, 2 down house.
On 300 quid a month.
But your rent's still only £500.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When your rent should be £900 a month, you wouldn't buy it. So why are you expecting somebody else to buy it? But then the flip side of that is that then you've got to try and get that tenant out. Which is why there's been an influx of Section 21s over the last, 3 to 6 months. But just a quick interesting point on the short hold tenancy agreements. When I've asked tenants, a lot of them have said that they don't like the fact that they've not got that fixed term to start with.
Yeah.
In fact, nearly all of them have said, because that fixed term, it gives them that security. Yes, they could leave, but the majority of them wouldn't after the first 6 months anyway. So that 6 month fixed term or 12 months fixed term, a lot of tenants are telling me that they would have preferred that to have stayed. And then maybe, have a fixed term to start with. Yeah, there should be an
opt-in service maybe. Yeah.
And the same with the rents, right? So one of the things that you can't do now is you can't do it as a rental war, right? So you can't offer more than the rent. But again, because of the way that the government have done it, all that's going to happen is the rents are just going to start higher.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do that on my personal ones.
Yeah.
Like I pitch high, see what I get. If I end up underneath, then fine.
But now that all that's going to happen is they're just all going to be pushed up.
Yeah, Yeah, but I had that example, and there's been multiple occasions where I've got the higher rent because of the supply and demand thing. I'm like, great, I'll just go with them then.
Yeah.
But then going back to the renewal thing, it's in my ASTs as well. But I've then, for the last 2 years on a property, for example, I've not increased it because I've looked at the local market at that time and gone, you know what, it probably doesn't justify an extra 5% because I went in high in the first instance.
But you've got the option to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which makes the difference.
Cool. So I think we're coming to the end.
All right.
So there's a couple of quick fire questions.
Okay, let's go.
What's the biggest mistake you've made so far in business?
Not doing stuff like this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So podcasts, getting on video, doing Facebook posts and LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I've missed a trick there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I've missed it or whether I can get on the boat now, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, probably things like moving with the times a little bit quicker.
And is that through fear of being on camera, what people will say?
Yeah, I don't like my own voice.
No one does, do they?
No.
Oh.
But yeah, just I don't know, fear of maybe not coming across as I understand what I'm talking about. I've always got that sort of innate fear that people won't take me seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe that.
Yeah. But again, I think that's because I was the same, by the way. I've stopped pushing anything on my personal Facebook and Instagram and stuff now because the people you went to, and I've changed in the last 6 years. I know I have. And the people that knew me probably think, oh, what's this arsehole doing talking about business? Who does he think he is?
Yeah.
But I think I've got a voice. I think I've got things that I think are important to people. And if someone listens to this podcast and takes a lesson away from it, then I've done my job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, no, I think you'll be fine. Don't worry. Most unpopular business opinion.
Most unpopular business opinion. Right now, it's to do with the renters' rights. So everybody's making a big fuss about it, and my opinion is that it's not a big thing. Mm-hmm. Everybody's panicking about it. Everybody's saying it's going to be the be all and end all of agents and landlords and private rents. It's not. So for me, I think that's an unpopular business decision at the moment that people are. I'm not taking it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking it as an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are questioning me on why I'm so relaxed about it.
Right way of looking at it, definitely. I think you've articulated why today really well as well, because I thought coming into that conversation it was going to be a negative thing, and you've spun it.
No,
so,
absolutely not.
What's your coffee house of choice?
Costa,
my guy.
Yeah.
Costa Express. That's for me.
Yeah, Costa Express.
Yeah, my guy.
I do like a latte with a shot in it though.
Same. Vanilla,
or I like caramel.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
My guy. Final one. If you could own any business in the world, what would it be and why?
If I could own any business, do you know what? I'm gonna stick with property.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with property. Just only because when I first started out in this, my uncle said to me that whatever else happens in any other type of business, stick with bricks and mortar. Because bricks and mortar will always pay dividends if you deal with it right. So for me, anything to do with property.
Nice. Cool. That's all my questions for today.
Right.
Thank you for your time. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, maybe they need some managing in Tameside or Manchester, where do they go?
They go to facebook.com/Thompson Estates or www. Do you still say www?
I think so.
www.thompsonea.co.uk.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lee.
And I always ask myself, am I going to die? And if the answer is no, fuck it, just go for it. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out, I fail, I fall flat on my face. Get back up and we try again. So even when it comes to having a conversation, where there's an opportunity, I'll speak to everyone I possibly can. I remember I met a guy a year and a half ago in the sauna, started talking about what we both do, both in property. Since then, we've probably done, 75 grand worth of business together in fees. That would never have happened if I didn't poke the conversation.
Yeah.